Okay, here we are playing Green-Red Infect in this league. We're going second, and his hand's not great, but my opponent's mulliganing, and we have like some lands and a sort of slower Infect creature that can probably be saved by Mutagenic growth. And we have, a good 12 creatures that we could play. So Dismal Backwater. If the opponent is on like the blue-black teachings deck, that's pretty bad. Since their whole deck is, interaction with mines. If they're on like Gurmag Anglers and things like that, that's not too bad, honestly. Since they actually have like creatures in their deck and cards that don't interact with me. So drawing a couple of creatures is a good start at least. It gives us a little bit of room to not have to go all in immediately. Or at the very least we can play out some creatures, then make them deal with those rather than building up to one gigantic turn, which is sometimes tricky to do. It looks like there's Gurmag Anglers happening though. Brainstorm not usually seen too often in the pure control versions. Opponent getting the full value Brainstorm though, shuffling away a couple of cards. That never happens for me. I never have a Brainstorm and a fetch land that I don't need to crack immediately. So much easier in Legacy when you can still get your mana the turn you shuffle. Alright. Well, that's interesting. What do we want to do here? Well, usually the 1 mana removal spell of choice is Disfigure. I mean, there might be some Ghastly Demise, but we can also counter that with Mutagenic Growth here. So what I think I'm going to do is play Ichor Colomir and Hammer Hands it. And I think that should work out in our favor. Unless they've got some card that's, far less expected. It's possible that they don't have any of those, they just are planning to Thought Scour or Mental Note or Brainstorm. But I think that's okay. And we should be pretty well set up next turn, considering we're going to untap with like 4 mana available, so we're going to be able to kick Finds, we're going to be able to play both of these, and probably nearly any other spell that we might draw. Opponent did not manage to flip Delver, which is, reasonably nice. And if they want to make a Gurmag Angler, they'll have to remove their entire graveyard. But I'm feeling like there's probably just what do we call it? A deprive or counterspell this turn. If it's like a Doomblade, then I don't want to like cast Rancor. Although, I mean, if they cast Doomblade, that's fine because I have this Finds. So I'm not sure exactly what can go wrong if I just cast Rancor here. Because I have Vines for backup, and I have these Mutagenic Growths. Opponent presumably realizing they can't really play around a Vines of the Vastwood here. Okay, so if I cast a Mutagenic Growth here, if they go for a Doomblade or an Agony Warp or something, then I still have this Finds. And this should be lethal. Also, I mean, if it's a counterspell, then they can counterspell this to not die, but then Vine still kills them. Yes, this is what we thought. And I might as well play it kicked because they don't have 2 islands in play, so they can't double daze me. Alright, we managed to defeat our opponent. So blue-black, it really depends on the exact makeup of their deck as to what we want to be sideboarding in. Like, they could be going heavier on the black removal spells, in which case we want more Corpse Curs. Some of them will try to put in like a bunch of blue spells like Dispels and things. So then you maybe want more Pyroblasts. So, but what I've been doing to this point is I've been like boarding out. I've been boarding in like mostly the 3 Corpse Curs in like 1 Pyroblast to sort of hedge my bets. I've been taking out Battle Rage because it's a little bit difficult to get going under the face of all the like removal and counter spells and that sort of thing, and like a Groundswell, and usually there's Hammer Hands as well. Although Hammer Hands is actually fairly good against the Gurmag Angler when they think they're safe, so to speak. So another option is like take out like 1 Glistener Elf, since it's maybe like the worst. I guess Blight Mamba is actually the worst, since it usually doesn't survive either. Alright. This is it's not that far away. It's not that far away from being keepable, but unfortunately, no. This is okay. I think we just basically keep any spell from this position. Suspare is fine. They mulliganed as well, so, and they didn't have a turn 1 Delver, so we've got a little bit of time to set up. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be casting some Thought Scours and that sort of thing here, but that's okay. Alright, opponent manipulating the top of their deck fairly effectively there. I think I'm just going to play a Blight Mamba here. I was planning to just sort of slow roll some of these lands, but slow roll my Infect features rather and play out some Gruul Turfs. But given that they were tapped out that turn, and it gives me the opportunity to play this Blight Mamba and hold up like regeneration mana and so on, it seems reasonable. Like they're probably going to... They probably have a counter spell here. So I am going to drop the regeneration shields for a little bit. While I could, you know, play out this and keep up the regeneration mana, it's better long term to have this Gruul Turf in play. Okay, they have an AK, which is pretty good for them. This is 2 mana, draw 2 cards there. No big deal. And we certainly have tons of mana this game. So if the opponent like taps out at basically any point moving forward, we can do some big reckless charge thing. We don't have any protection for Doomblades or anything just now though, so I don't think I'll be doing that right away. Just gonna play out some lands, build up mana, because like they can do stuff during the end of my turn, so it's not like purely upside for me to just be slow rolling my stuff. Like if they just have a bunch more accumulated knowledges, it's actually pretty bad, since they'll be able to answer everything eventually. But if we can get into a position where we like play an Icacolmir, reckless charge it, plus finds it or something, that's obviously way better than just slapping out Icacolmir this turn and then getting Doombladed or Agony Warped. or indeed even counterspelled. Where if once we get enough mana, eventually, you know, we can play out like an Ichor, get it counterspelled, and then play some pump spells as well. Just to kill them with this, or even a hasty Cyst Bearer. This looks like a Gurmag Angler to me. Alright. So, opponent's definitely got quite a good draw off of a mulligan here. I'll see how they feel about this Cyst Bearer. Yep. Well, gotta work through those, I guess. As for attacking this turn, I don't think that's a great idea. This means we take a bunch of damage from the Angler while putting like one counter on it. Yeah, I guess the opponent could not block it, but I don't think that's especially likely. If the opponent attacks with both creatures, I think I would probably block with the Mamba and then regenerate. Well, times are pretty tough here. If they've got like an Agony Warp, this will be... So if they have like Agony Warp plus Counterspell, this can go poorly for us. If it's just like a Doomblade, then, you know, whatever, I'll regenerate my creature. I won't get to attack or block, but whatever. Counterspell, that's okay, I guess. There's not too much we can do about that. And this time I'm gonna attack in since I have like 2 instances of regeneration available. They blocked with the Delver? What does this mean? Does this mean they're gonna bounce my Blight Mamba or something? Okay, I'm fairly happy with that outcome, to be honest. They're down to 3 cards, which isn't a whole lot. Obviously, if they get to the stage where they draw another AK, that's pretty bad for us, since it'll be a full draw 3. And they're not too far away from being able to flashback Chain of Edict either. Big angles, okay. Coming in. They're at 6 mana. Shrivel? That's unfortunate. They don't have any real pump spells to save this, and obviously regeneration mana does nothing against Shrivel. Looks like they have another counterspell or a deprive or something, which is obviously fairly bad for me. So I guess I'd rather get this Ichor counterspelled if that's what they're going to be doing. It's possible they don't have that though. So what's the best option here? I mean, I feel like they probably would have wanted to cast. They probably would have wanted to counterspell this, right? If they had one. Because I can like cast Reckless Charge, flash it back, and like Apostle's Blessing to get in for like 7 Infect, which is not quite enough Infect. Maybe they don't have it? I feel like if they do have a counter spell, they would 100% counter that there. However, I think I have enough mana that I can just take back Sistbearer here, and it'd be probably better. I could obviously Reckless Charge in with like the Ichthyocoin Mirror here, but that would just be I'd be trading the charge plus Mirror for Scavenger, which isn't like a huge upside. And if all they're going to do next turn is potentially flashback Tuner's Edict, then obviously this gets to die. Then I Reckless Charge, flashback Corpse Cur, then give it protection from black and kill them. I can also do a similar thing with Sistbearer. But Gush is pretty good for them. That's a lot worse. So I guess they were considering casting Gush during my turn to try and dig for a counter spell on Corpse Cur. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's probably it. I guess they could have drawn a bunch of dazes. So I guess first things first, I'll cast Apostle's Blessing to give protection from black. Magic Online, always never letting me just click on this. And here the power of the Gruul Turf coming into play there. And I managed to win the match. Hooray! See you for round 2.